Let's start with Karen Reed here. There is this big question about the cracked taillight. We see prosecutors saying it happened when she hit her police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe. The defense, meanwhile, is saying it happened after the car was impounded. A Massachusetts state police officer testifying that no forensic photographer documented the fragments. No one even took pictures of fragments of a cracked light with their phones. No one recorded their placements either. Officers saying they just found the pieces of the taillight when the snow eventually thawed. What do you make of all of this? Is this significant?
Well, I think what it speaks to really is the absolute importance of meticulous police work at a crime scene. I've known Alan Jackson for years, consider him a friend of mine. I don't necessarily agree with everything he's saying on this case, but you can't make mistakes like that and have a defense lawyer with experience and talent like Alan Jackson has without him driving a truck right through that hole. So the argument essentially goes like this. They framed her, they broke the taillight someplace else, and then they went and planted those at the scene. And that's why you've got to go and take those photos. Now, it's a little different in defense of the police because it was so snowy and it was melting and it took them several days to get it, but still, you need meticulous forensic workup in any homicide case.
Yeah, and along those lines, prosecutors saying O'Keefe never showed up to the party that night. We see the Canton Police Department, they never pulled any video from a camera across the street. And a former officer said, quote, "I knew it wouldn't have captured anything." What are your thoughts on this? And do you find it odd that no one ever searched the inside of that house the party was held at?
Well, the accusation that the people inside the house killed him and then dumped him out in the snow is, I mean, it's outlandish, sorry. However, with a guy like Alan Jackson pitching it, it starts to kind of take on a life of its own, which has led to these Facebook groups and social media and that Turtle Boy guy who started picketing the homes of people. So again, you need meticulous investigation on any homicide. And that was, I think that was sloppy for them not to do that. They should have gone in, they should have interviewed everybody. There's no reason to do a forensic workup of the home unless you're suspecting or anticipating a defense like this. Mm-hmm. And, in retrospect, I'm sure they wish they had done that.
Let's move to the Menendez brothers because their resentencing hearing is finally coming up this week. We're seeing that risk assessment of the brothers coming back saying they will be a moderate risk to the community if released. Part of that was based on Lyle Menendez hiding that cell phone. He was using it to flirt with a 21-year-old British student. Does that rise to being a threat to the community? Were you surprised by that risk assessment coming back that way? And does the assessment, in your eyes, mean they're likely not getting out?
Well, they've run out of parents to kill. I don't mean to be glib about this, but I don't think that they're at risk of murdering any additional family members. But these are called CDC 115s. And when you have a prisoner who's not following the rules, and that's a big rule violation, having a cell phone in prison is a big deal. And when you have prisoners that do that, they can do all kinds of things with the cell phone. They can arrange murders. They can conduct, drug deals. Having a cell phone in prison is a major violation. And the idea that they're doing that shows that they are still not following the rules. And the biggest problem for them is they haven't admitted doing it. So whenever you do a parole hearing, and I've done many, when you go in to discuss a lifer's ability to be released, the first thing that the parole board looks for is what is known as insight. In other words, have they recognized what they did? Are they sorry about it? And then if they are, that's where you begin to build the idea that they're not a risk in the community. And most prisoners who are paroled have that sort of insight, and then they're released. Menendez brothers are still denying it, which has been Nathan Hockman's point the entire time. You can't release these guys into the community when they still deny the wrongfulness of what they did. And remember, the parents have been referred to consistently as a block. Natasha, and it drives me crazy. You don't get to murder your mom because your dad did something bad. You don't get a free murder on something like this. And the argument all along, since David Cohn, all along has been they killed the mom to get at the money. And the central legal issue is what's known as lying in wait and what's known as imperfect self-defense, an actual but unreasonable belief that their mother, not just the dad, posed an imminent risk to them of death or great bodily harm. And the Ninth Circuit, in reviewing this, excoriated that defense. So there's a lot of emotion in this case. A lot of people watched the Netflix thing. They saw two young boys and they look cute, and boy, oh boy, I'm against sexual assault. If they get this, they're getting their resentencing hearing. The scary part is that the people that are serving life without possibility in parole in California State Prison, and I can tell you because I've sent many of them there, are the worst human beings on the planet, and every one of them is going to be lining up for their resentencing hearing if the Menendez brothers are released.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.